You are not supposed to be here. No one is. And the moment you realize that, it's already too late. What if the universe isn't the beginning of everything, but the aftermath of something that should have stayed buried? Most people sleep fine at night believing the Big Bang was the start, the first moment, the birth of time itself. But physicists who've spent decades staring into the mathematics of that event, the ones who don't speak at conferences anymore, the ones who quietly retired early, some of them found something in the equations they never published. Not because they couldn't, because they didn't want to. You wouldn't either. Not after you understood what it meant. Close your eyes and stay with this for a moment. There's nothing around you. No stars, no cold, no darkness even, because darkness requires space to exist inside, and there is no space. There is no time either, which means there's no you, not really, because you are a thing that exists across moments, and moments haven't been invented yet. The silence here isn't quiet. It's the absence of the concept of sound. It is a place so fundamentally wrong for a human mind that the brain has no framework to process it. No metaphor fits. Language itself starts to dissolve. And yet, something is there. Scientists call the moment just before the Big Bang a singularity, a point of infinite density, infinite temperature, all of existence compressed beyond compression into something smaller than a thought. But here's what they don't say in classrooms. The math works in both directions, forward into the universe we know, and backward into something the equations describe but refuse to name cleanly. The temperature readings don't go to zero when you move backward through time. They go to a number that shouldn't exist, a negative value, not cold, something else. You take another step back. The singularity is ahead of you now, which means you've crossed a threshold that has no name in physics. You are in the before, and the before is not empty. There are shapes here, not objects, shapes, geometries that predate the laws that govern geometry. They don't move the way things move. They persist, which is different. Persistence without time is a thing you have to witness to understand, and once you do, something in your understanding of the word existence quietly breaks and does not heal. Here is the first thing the physicists found in those unpublished notes. The Big Bang was not an explosion outward, it was a reaction. Something in the before was disturbed. The universe, every star, every atom, every second of every life ever lived is not a creation. It is a shockwave, a scar. The universe is what happens when something in the before is touched, and you have just walked into the before. You stand still, or you try to. Stillness doesn't quite work the same way here because without time, the concept of holding a position starts to blur. You feel yourself beginning to not fade exactly, spread, as though the edges of you are becoming suggestions rather than facts. The shapes notice this. They don't turn toward you. Turning requires direction, and direction requires space. But something in their persistence shifts, the way a room changes when someone in it becomes aware of you, before they've moved, before they've spoken. A change in the quality of attention. And then the second thing the physicists found, embedded in the background radiation of the universe, in the faint thermal echo of the Big Bang that we've been measuring for decades with satellites and antennas pointed at the edge of everything, there are patterns, not random noise, patterns that repeat, structures too deliberate for chaos, too ancient for any known process. Some researchers called it artifact, some called it interference. One physicist who resigned her position at a major institution in 2019 without public explanation called it something that got quietly removed from her final paper before peer review, a word that meant, roughly, a signal sent back from inside. You feel it now, a pressure, not physical, there's no physics here, but something that functions like pressure, something that knows you arrived from the other side. Something that has been waiting in the before for longer than time has existed, which is a sentence that should be impossible, but sits in your chest with the weight of absolute truth. It is not hostile. That's the part that will follow you. It is not hostile, and it is not curious, and it is not sleeping. It is something for which you have no word, expressing something for which you have no concept, in a place where everything that makes you you, your memories, your name, your sense of continuity, is becoming difficult to hold together. You understand now why the universe is expanding, why it has never stopped expanding since the moment it began, still racing outward in every direction simultaneously. Not from the energy of the bang, from the instinct of everything that was born in that moment, still running from what was in the before. You take one step toward the singularity, back toward the universe, back toward light and law and the mercy of linear time. And the shapes do not stop you. They let you go. They have always let things go. It costs them nothing. What's 13 billion years to something that does not experience time? You return. The universe snaps back around you, cold and vast and extraordinarily beautiful in the way that only survivors understand beauty, as contrast, as relief, as the exhale after the held breath. You are back. You are fine. You are standing wherever you are standing, and the lights are on, and time is moving forward the way it always has. But here is the detail that does not leave. In the background radiation data, the patterns don't just repeat, they update. The most recent satellite measurements show structures that weren't in the data 40 years ago, as though something in the before has been responding, slowly, across billions of years, to the fact that we started listening. It has been answering. We just haven't understood what it's saying yet. If this unsettled something in you, subscribe. There are more questions waiting.